The world's fastest ready-to-race supercar. That sounds pretty cool. 100 miles an hour, 0 to 100 in 4.9 seconds. That's pretty quick. Experts only. I think I qualify for that. How's it going, RC drivers? Welcome back to the channel. We have the new Traxxas XO-1 on the workbench to check out, and I say it's new, but it's revised new. They've made a couple changes to the platform to make it much more drivable. I think it's got to be a lot of fun for those people that want to get into high-speed driving and maybe hit 100 miles an hour as well. So let's take a closer look at what they've done here. Here is the body shell that we've seen before. They offer it in a number of different colors, and I just love the sleek aerodynamic shape of this Traxxas supercar. Now, if you're familiar with the XO-1, you probably spotted some of the changes already, and one of those changes is up here with the front splitter. They've added canards to keep the front end down for better stability, and then out back here we have a new high downforce wing, and that overall change to the aero package here will help keep this much more stable when you're just having fun driving this thing around. When you go to hit 100 miles an hour, you're gonna have to make a few tweaks to the car. I'll talk about that in a little bit, but there's another change out back here that I want to show you. They now have a hole in the rear of the body that will help let air that's trapped under the body escape, and then there is a change to the rear diffuser as well. Let me pop the body off so you can see that. And what we have back here now is we have another foam bumper, and this just helps keep the rear of the body stable so it's not fluttering around when you're driving around at high speeds, and with less body flutter, the car is just going to handle a lot better. Check out the diffuser, really cool looking. Now let's take a look at the chassis itself. I mean, this is just an awesome setup. I love all the aerodynamic features of this. Look at these, side plates here. We even have ductwork to help direct air over to the motor to keep it cool. There's that big front bumper, a closer look at the splitter as well. The chassis on here is aluminum, a flat plate aluminum chassis. Obviously, it's got an aluminum upper deck. It even put different size batteries in as well. It is a scalable battery tray. And let's go over here to the front, and we'll just talk about the suspension really quick because it's stuff that we've seen before on the XO-1. Absolutely love the aluminum shock towers on here, both front and rear. The hard anodized GTR shocks, these are always an awesome shock. Out on the outside of the arms, we have the aluminum caster blocks and steering knuckles. Even the rear hub carriers are aluminum. And another change that they made to this car is they now have the HD arms on here. So if you do go and bump into a curb while you're driving, these won't shatter. These take a lot more abuse, so that's nice to see on there. Adjustable turnbuckles all the way around. Great suspension setup. And now one of the other changes they made to the car, they now have a metal arm on the steering crank. So this won't move or deflect when you're going through high-powered corners. There's still a servo saver spring in there and adjustable tie rods. All right, let's skip over to the drivetrain now. Revo spec differentials front and rear. We've got a cush drive inside of the spur gear. These are Mod 1 gears for the pinion and spur. As you can see, we got the extruded aluminum drive shaft, full ball bearings, and the nice telescoping steel universal drive shafts with the 6mm axles out to 17mm hex hubs for the rest of the drivetrain. And then bolted to all four corners, we have 100-mile-an-hour belted tires, really cool looking chrome rims, but these look like they're glued up really well. They have to be to hit 100 miles an hour. All right, now let's talk about the electronics really quick. There's the 2075 steering servo. Over here, we've got the radio box with a TQI receiver in there. The Traxxas big block motor. And then right here, check out the size of that ESC. That is the Castle Creations Mamba Monster Extreme. And it's even fitted with a cat pack. It's got the Traxxas connectors on there, really good speed controller, and they give you the instruction manual in there so you know how to program it if you want to do any tuning to it. But let me just flip it over really quick so you can see the bottom of that chassis. Love the look of that, man. It just looks awesome. Anyway, all right, let's check out what else comes in the kit. We've got the TQI radio system. What I do want to point out here is it comes with the Traxxas Link, because if you want to go 100 miles an hour, you're going to have to unlock that feature using the Traxxas Link dashboard. They walk you through that in the manual. What we also have in the kit here is all the manuals and instructions you'll need for the car, some extra decals. Here is your high-speed pin gear. Look at the size of that thing. It's almost the size of a spur gear. Here is the included nylon 100-mile-an-hour spoiler. Obviously, the high downforce spoiler will cut some speed down, so you want to go put this on for 100 miles an hour. And you get some basic tools, which is really cool. Love that Traxxas includes those. But let's go throw some batteries in here. I've got 2 freshly charged 3S packs, and let's head outside and do it. All right, guys, so I found this new parking lot to bomb around in, and usually there's a lot of security guard around this area, this industrial lot, but this is the cleanest lot I found for this. This thing is really low to the ground, so that's one thing to consider when you're driving it. But you know what? It's been a while since I've driven one of these. This thing does feel a lot more stable than the last one. The tires are starting to heat up. They're really gripping. It's like 96 degrees out right now. But we'll just do some nice little rips around here. A little worried about the curb, so I'm not gonna go crazy. Love the pull on this thing. Look at that thing just take off. You see the TSM kick in a little bit. I forgot to mention that before. Oh, we got a little sideways there. I wonder if we got a rock in the rear. Yeah, once the tires heat up, I notice a lot of chatter in the wheels still. It's gripping. But you know what? I'm gonna go around this corner over here. This looks like a really cool spot. Let's come flying up and around. Oh yeah, this is gonna be cool. Ready for this? Little bump there, we'll hit it. Boom, yeah! Up and around, sweet. That looks awesome. Come back through. Roll on it. Nice, much better. Yeah. Oh, there's the curb. Oh, I hit the curb. Little durability test for those new HD arms. Little sideways action, yeah. Yeah, they said it was gonna, you know, slide through the corners. That it does. It doesn't spin out anymore. There we go. I think that just had a little rock in the rear, and that's why I was spinning out before, because it's planted again. Yeah, so you just get sideways now. You can still like pull out of it by ripping on the throttle. TSM kicks in. This thing looks awesome. Gotta come ripping through over here now. This should be fun. See this bump a little better. Yeah. Oh, handles so good. Look at that. Oh, oh no. There goes that front splitter. Well, I curbed it pretty hard, but it looks like something I could just go home and fix. Yeah, the screws just pulled through. So I'm gonna go home. We'll just get this thing back together and go out for a speed run. I think that'll be fun. All right, guys, so I'm back at the workshop. The damage wasn't too bad. I have the car fixed. It did tear through the foam front bumper here, so I went and used some CA glue to glue that back together, and then the screws just pulled out of the canard, so I unscrewed it and screwed it back in place. The plastic was so soft because it was so hot out, it just pulled through, so I really lucked out on that. And I've already gone ahead here and swapped out the pinion gear, so I have the massive gear on there, so we can do 100 miles an hour. I've got my GNSS in there, and I just finished going through the unlocking system to go and run 100 miles an hour. You have to hook up your radio system to the Link app and go through the process here of unlocking the car, and it will allow it to do 100 miles an hour now. You have to do a bunch of accepting of terms and watch a little video, and then you'll be able to run the car. So let me just hit next. There we go. My last accept here. And there we go. It's unlocking the car. So I'll be able to do 100 now. Okay, I'll throw a new set of packs in here and we'll head out for a top speed run. So if you're a regular viewer, you know where I am right now. I'm at the street where I speed test all the cars, and it looks like it's pretty quiet today, so I think I'm gonna luck out. I've already got the XO-1 on, I've got the GNSS fired up. Now it's time to see how fast it goes. Let's do it. So I'm not sure if you caught the end of that run. I was so stunned I just shut the camera off, but that thing took off in the air. There's a bump down there that I must have hit because the bottom of the chassis scraped. It wasn't scraped before, and it just took off, and luckily it landed in the weeds. I did, however, check my GNSS, and we hit 90 miles an hour on that run. I think I'm just gonna cut it off there. You know, I'm pretty sure that this thing is gonna do 100 miles an hour. We know it does 100 miles an hour. We've seen these things before, but man, that was just a wild ride at the end. Yeah, I just don't wanna risk it. I wanna keep driving this thing because it is a lot more fun with you know, the little changes that they made to it. There's still some jitter in the wheels. Once these tires get nice and hot, there's just so much traction that there's a lot of flex. I think it's in the arm, and that's when, you know, you'll see that jitter in the wheels, but at least it doesn't really spin out anymore. I did have some rocks in the rear when I was running in that parking lot, and I think that's what was like binding the rear, but now it's all cleared out. It's back to running fine again. So I think they did a good job tweaking this thing. It's a lot of fun, really easy to hit 100 miles an hour. I think if you have the right area to do it, that's key. Even driving this thing in some of the parking lots, there was a lot of rocks, and this thing is so low, it kind of upsets the car a little bit. So make sure you have a good spot to run this. All right, let me know what you think about the XO-1 in the comments section. I'll have links in the video description for you, and check out this playlist at the end of the video for more Traxxas reviews.